Hello, hello, hello.
Hi
Happy
there.
start to the week of November. Today, I have Urban Bohemian with me, and I'm so honored to be in his presence. He is absolutely fantastic, great content, early morning streamer, by the way, because every time I'm waking up, you're live. I said, okay, I love that you get dedicated and you wake up early and you're streaming. I love it. But enough about what I know about him. Let's let him tell his story. Let's learn a little bit about you and your community and your content creation journey. And please share your pronouns with us.
Well, sure. I am Brian, aka Urban Bohemian. My pronouns are he, him. I have been a variety streamer for 5 or 6 years on the platform, and it's just been a lot of fun. I do it because, initially it was something fun to try and I really enjoyed it. And especially now during these pandemic times, it's really helpful for my mental health. And it seems like a lot of people also enjoy coming in. We're a cozy, fun community, and I do love that we have a big emphasis and focus on charity.
I I love that about your content the most. You are always fundraising for incredible causes on your stream. And us at Tiltify, we really appreciate all the work you do. And that's why we're chatting with you today. So, since we're on the topic of charity streams, what is one of your favorite fundraisers you've done so far on your stream?
Oh wow. All
So
of
many
them,
of them.
I was like, I actually did go look, and because it always kind of blows me away when you look at the amount that you've raised, and it shows you over all your campaigns. I have to think the best one was one of the first big ones I did on Tiltify, and that was with the Bail Project, and it was an absolutely ridiculous sort of marathon between me and another friend, and that I believe I was on for like 6 or 8 hours because people kept donating, and we were like, all right, well, I guess we'll just keep staying. There was one point where I wasn't even doing anything. I was sitting idle in World of Warcraft because I couldn't keep up with donations or anything. The fire alarm in my building went off once, and I was like, okay, I'm turning off the mic. That was it. And I'm just sitting there silent, and people are still donating. That was an incredible experience. And it really opened my eyes, and it opened the eyes of others in our community to realize that it is not that difficult to add in a fundraising element and a charitable element to your streams. Just do what you normally do and let people know about a great cause. And the people who are able to donate do.
Exactly. I love that. And the Bail Project was such a powerful movement last year with George Floyd and everything that happened. And it was
Mhm.
incredible to see so many different creators come together to help these protesters, especially during a pandemic, 'cause they
Yeah.
were fighting every single day, every single day. And, some of us couldn't go out there too. It's still COVID. We have, family to look out for and ourselves. So taking the initiative to use your online platform to do good and raise awareness for this cause is amazing. And that is so cool to know that that was one of your favorites. So,
It really was. Yeah.
honestly, yeah. And you mentioned that, it's not hard to add a charitable, you know, event with your stream. What would you tell somebody that wants to start their first charity stream? What advice would you give
Um,
them?
Ooh, I would say pick something that you are that resonates with you, or you are personally close to, or in some cases personally affected by. Um, and beyond that, don't set your goal too high. One, because people love breaking goals. Like they love seeing that thing hit 100% and you having to raise your goal. But also because you can set your own expectations and you don't feel that you have failed when perhaps you raise $100, because that's $100 that a charity didn't have yesterday that they now have because of you. Even if your goal was $5,000, every bit that you raise, every dollar that's donated is good. And otherwise, just relax and have fun. Set up timers, set up a overlay, talk about it on social media, and that's it. Then you get back to playing your game or chatting or cooking or crafting, and the rest of it just kind of happens.
And you talk about cooking. Do you do some cooking streams? streams? You wanna talk about that a
I've
little
done more
bit?
than a few. I've done more than a few cooking streams. I kind of joked. I was like, I've always wanted a cooking show, and there was one time where I've done a few early morning streams in the kitchen, which try getting up first thing in the morning and then deciding, okay, well, it's time to cook a three-course meal. That's not smart, but it's still fun. And yeah, I've done a few things in the kitchen, and probably will do more since we're coming up to the food holidays. So that's probably going to happen pretty soon. And yeah, it's really fun because you it's a teaching thing. People want to ask questions about how to cook. You can basically walk people through. You can show people that they can do a lot with food in a small space because I have a small kitchen. So those are a lot of fun for me. And also at the end of it, like my meals for the week are done. So it's kind of like
Ooh,
all in one.
oh, yeah. Being very productive and entertaining at the same time. I love that. And I just want to thank you for that advice. That was incredible advice to give somebody when they want to start their first fundraiser. So good job on that. And I want to learn a little bit more about, do you use cooking streams for incentives for fundraising or anything like that? Or plan to?
I So far I haven't. It's interesting because I do know a lot of people use incentives, and I I don't think I'm an outlier, but I know that I'm one of the few people who probably doesn't do a lot of milestones or incentives. But I have done.
Really?
We will do a specific type of content if we hit a certain number. So I have done milestones and incentives before, but in general, um, people know that I'll be silly and ridiculous already. Like, I don't need to be doing that for charity, so they already know, like, if they're donating, I will do silly things anyway. Um, but for me, it I think no, because some people will do, like, they'll eat something weird, or they'll put something on their face, or wear a mask, or play with, a mask on, and I'm like, "I won't do that." And I just it's like, I've gotta be silly and chaotic enough,
Correct.
but yes, I said if we get to a certain thing, I'll do a cooking stream, or, I'll play a certain game, like one that I'm not usually good at or I don't like. But in general, what I found is, people are often kind and generous enough that sometimes they don't actually want to see their streamer have to go through it to raise money for
Yeah.
charity. So it really depends on reading your audience, and I think mine are the kind that just enjoy sitting out and having a good time. Um, and now you have me terrified that if I ever offer an incentive to mess with me on stream, that's what will get the most donations. So thanks for that.
Especially cooking. I've seen people go above and beyond with the cooking streams. A donation can change your ingredient. What?
I
No.
can't even imagine.
No.
I mean, and most things I make,
No.
I do have appliances for most things I make, but the minute I get
Mhm.
a knife out or something that's sharp, I'm like, no, we're not doing no incentives
Right.
now, because
No, no.
absolutely not. Um, but there is one streamer I work with, and we have discussed doing a charity stream and allowing incentives for us to essentially stop what we're doing for a number of minutes, which again, depending on if you have something on the heat or something going, like,
Mhm.
just being told to sit on your hands for a while. So there are a lot of fun incentives you can use while doing food streams, but I guess to kind of sneak back into the advice part is make sure that there are incentives that won't ruin whatever your end goal or your end product is, especially if you're crafting or cooking.
Exactly. Unless that's your kind of energy that you want. Chaotic
Sure.
energy. That's fine? Yeah, there are some people that do sundaes, like the dessert sundaes, and every
Oh,
donation
goodness.
it chooses their topping for the sundae. It could be ketchup, it could be chocolate, it could be horseradish. I'm like, "No, no,
I
no." I
can't.
think
I could not.
no. I think personally, I'm getting over the food incentives, things that make me sick because it's fun and all, but when you've been fundraising for years and you keep utilizing that incentive, yeah, your stomach kinda gets tired of it.
I mean,
So
if you're an iron
oof,
stomach champion who loves doing that, I've seen
right.
people do. They'll essentially let people pick a cursed pizza, and they
Oof,
will order everything that at that point the donations have decreed will be on the pizza, and I don't know if they eat the whole thing, but they do at least eat like one bite, and I'm just like,
No.
okay,
Mm.
I'd rather not. I think I'd rather not.
But it's awesome to see how people get creative with their
Mhm.
milestones. But other than that, yeah, I didn't know that you just fundraise and you're going to do fun stuff and you don't really utilize incentives and milestones. So that's cool because I want to make it clear that to new and upcoming fundraisers, like you don't always have to have incentives and milestones. Of course, it makes it fun, but it is not needed. As you see, Urban Bohemian right now is successful in his fundraising without them. But of course, they are there when you want to use them. So, and of course,
Yeah.
you can utilize polls too. Do you utilize polls, Brian? At least, do you think?
I have done on a few campaigns. I have done the polls that people when they donate for this or that, and it's usually something that is very frivolous. Like there are no, we don't pick any major, you know, I guess swing issues. It's really just like
Yeah.
something like this or that. Um,
Huh.
and yeah, it's been fun, and I will, I'll absolutely. I'll say, okay, well, I guess you win today. Like, there's no winners, but there's no losers. It's all for a good cause. Um, and yeah, I think anything that if you as a streamer, if it gives you energy and keeps you going, then by all means do the silly things or do the fun things. Or I've seen
Hmm.
people who will like they'll extend the time of their stream, which makes me think about the telethons growing up. And again, I couldn't because I got to go to bed. But if you can, great. If that works for you, fantastic. But yeah,
Yeah.
Tiltify does allow it. It allows so many options, and I do think that the incentives and the milestones are something that really help, especially when you're using them with the overlay because it shows up every now and then, and people know how close they are to something. And anything that really
Exactly.
just keeps fueling that energy, I think, is really good when it comes to the campaigns.
Definitely. I completely agree. And we're talking about Tiltify now and how you've been using Tiltify for a while now. And I wanted to ask you, how has your experience been using our platform?
It's been really, really easy. I have always found whether before it was an overlay and Streamlabs integration, and now you have your own overlays. I've always found them really simple to use. It is so much easier to it's so much easier to know live on stream when something happens as opposed to having to have a separate window open to see donations. Um, I switch up sounds, I switch up the alerts, and then I will do something celebratory on my end when it happens. And I really think that encourages it. Not, charity and fundraising, you should be doing it because it's good. However, there's no denying that it is kind of nice to have someone just say thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your donation.
I love that. I love our overlay feature now because you can have literally everything right there with one link. You add it right to
Exactly.
your OBS. I love that so much. And the cool thing is that we have pre-selected sounds for the alerts and everything that are DMCA free, of course.
Yep.
And it just makes it so easy for creators. And I can agree with this personally and as the community manager, both sides. It's really, really easy, and it just makes me
Mhm.
happy to always hear from creators that it's easy because we have busy jobs. Some of us have full-time jobs outside of, streaming, and
Yeah.
we want it to be seamless and easy. So I love hearing that. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about what would attribute most to your success in fundraising with your community.
Um, as I said, I pick things that either I know about and can talk about, or I pick things that are personally close to me. So raising money for the Bail Project, I raise a lot of money for LGBTQIA plus charities. I have raised for cancer related charities. All of these things affect me personally, so I can talk about how they either help me or they help people who are in situations like mine. However, that isn't absolutely necessary. Sometimes you can see that things are happening in the world, and as you mentioned during the bail with the during sorry that summer, the bail project, it was to help people who were able to go out and who were willing to go out and protest because a lot of us couldn't do that. A lot of us were trying to be as safe as possible, stay inside. Perhaps we're immunocompromised, and that was another way of essentially saying, "Here's how I can help." Another charity fund I did with another fundraising thing I did was with that. Wow, the words are not. This is a streaming thing. Like I'm like, well, what? Was charity water, and it was just essentially it was something that was just the simplest mission of all is to make
Ah,
sure that you can help people have clean water, and you don't have to be affected by that. You only have to think about like, okay, once you've provided access to clean water, that means all these additional opportunities are available because there's no longer that stress. So in terms of success, I think it has been picking charities that I personally can talk about or that I can at the very least understand and relate to. Another thing that has worked is I've reached out to charities to make sure that we get, their abstracts or their fact sheets and their one pagers so that we can talk, or if there's a video we can show, things like that that also help people connect and understand the mission, being able to share links to them and being able to point at their work and their projects and their efforts. So a lot of it kind of wraps in, but as long as you're able to make people understand this is what this organization does and this is how it helps other people and you can be a part of that, I think that any charity campaign is successful at that point.
I love that. That is all brilliant. And thank you so much for sharing, reaching out to the cause and getting those fact sheets and abstracts. That is so important because I think it's important that you do your charity fundraiser, but you have to know who you're fundraising for. There's so many instances where people are like, yeah, we're fundraising for St. Jude. Okay, what are they about? I think for childhood cancer. That you have to be
I
confident, you
mean,
have to know
right.
who you're fundraising for, so you tell your community why you are doing that fundraiser, so they can grow that connection to you to then donate or bring awareness by sharing the fundraiser or whatever it may be. But make sure you are knowledgeable in all the causes you want to support. It takes
Right.
just a
And
quick Google
I think
search.
exactly. I think just like Tiltify handles a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to managing the incoming donations and tracking goals. Yeah, there are a wealth of resources out there. And a lot of charities, if they, I've seen charities that if they even have their own pages on like Giphy. So if you want to use their
Yes,
GIFs for your alerts, like they have already done that. They have kits out there to say, oh, you're fundraising. Great. Here's some already have overlays that are set for your stream. They've already got them formatted for BRB and things like that. So yeah, there are a lot of resources out there. And even if you don't initially know a lot about a cause, sometimes you just need, what is their 2 to 3 sentence thing as to what their cause is about. If you can remember that or have it on a piece of paper or have it on a timer on a bot, again, let your tools do the heavy lifting for you. um,
I love that.
but it does help to do a little bit of your research and be familiar with it, because people aren't really gonna they're not going to hold you or press you to say, well, why are you raising money for this charity? Because who would do that? But it does help you feel more comfortable, as opposed to just having something on screen and never talking about it at all.
Agree 100%. And even if there are some instances where you do not find them, you know, on their website or with just a Google search. So
Yep.
most of our Tiltify pages, when you are looking up a cause, it has the toolkits that Brian mentioned earlier, overlays, fact sheets, all that good stuff. And of course, you can reach out to these causes on Twitter. Don't be afraid. They are so happy to have you fundraising for them. They are thrilled
Absolutely.
and they want to help you be successful. Okay. So don't feel bad and just have fun with fundraising. I'm sure Brian could definitely agree with that. Just have fun and make a
Yeah.
difference. And however much you raise, be proud of that. They didn't have it yesterday. So thank you,
All
Brian,
the time, yeah.
for being here and talking to me. You're amazing. I got to make that clear. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you, I
And
appreciate
I
it.
yeah, we're happy to have you a part of our community and we can't wait to see all the fundraising you do in the future.
Yeah.
Now, where can our community find you on socials?
Well, that's really easy. I am at Urban Bohemian pretty much everywhere. If you want to find me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Urban Bohemian. The only place I don't have that is on TikTok. I'm a little salty about it, but I'll be honest. I don't use TikTok as much as I should. So it's really easy. It's really easy to find me there, and you can find me mostly talking about gaming and comics and movies and brunch and disco, like in case it's very obvious.
Ooh,
Um, and yeah, so it's like I love the fact that you talked about DMCA free alert sounds because yeah, wanting to share music with people, eh, that all of a sudden got really hard to do on the internet. But
very
yeah,
hard.
you can find me at Urban Bohemian pretty much everywhere there is, and I would love to see folks stop by the channel. And if you like it, click follow and stay a while.
Yes. Click all the links down below. Go follow right now. Okay. He's incredible. Thank you again for joining me. We hope you all have a wonderful day and stay safe out there. Bye.
All right, thanks so much.